breaking the chains we've built. Standing up now, the year. Raise your voice, let it soar. The right time, let's say slow.
Welcome. Thanks for coming in and joining me today. My name is Keemer, and this is the Right Podcast Rising. You can catch me on X, Keemer the Great. For right now, we're going to talk about several things that's going on today in our world, specifically what's going on in the world of Washington, D.C., because we know that that's where our president is, and that's where all the action in the country is focused on right now. To begin with, I'm going to start with a little bit of a story about the AOC, who is under investigation as a result of webinars that she's putting on showing illegal aliens how to avoid ICE. Now, to me, that is absolutely tragic for her, because that goes against every principle that President Trump was elected to defend. That's absolutely crazy on her part. I don't know what she's thinking. She's probably thinking that this is one of those situations where people are just blustering, talking about stuff, and not following through with action. But if it's anything is clear in the last, I'd say 4 weeks of this presidency, is if you F around, you're going to find out. And I think that AOC is just about ready to find out. There's a couple of tweets I want to share with you. The first one is from Gary D. Tom Homan has referred AOC to the DOJ for potential prosecution. Prosecution, okay? That's a word that has been bandied about in the past, but nobody ever seems to get prosecuted. Wouldn't it be amazing if AOC was the first one with silver bracelets? To me, that would be crazy. But in this time of Donald J. Trump, it's actually a possibility. Another tweet that I've seen is from my guy, George, or better known as Beheezy. Also the same thing. She's been for potential prosecution. He says, I sent a letter to the deputy AG. That's Tom Homan sent that letter to the deputy. So they're not fooling around. This is for real. I don't know if AOC is scared in the least bit. She's probably laughing it off, but I wouldn't laugh it off, because if you think about it, Letitia James and Kathy Hochul have both been put on notice about what's going on in the state of New York. It's so bad that Eric Adams has basically flipped. He is hand in hand with Tom Homan on the cushy couch on Fox News. But what I also want to share with you is just a little bit of Tom Homan sharing some information with Laura Ingraham on Fox News. Laura asked him, is AOC impeding on his
impediment? I'm not an attorney, I'm not a prosecutor. Is that impediment? Is that impeding our law enforcement efforts? If so, what are we going to do about it? Is she crossing the line? So I'm working with the Department of Justice and finding out where is that line that they cross. So maybe AOC is going to be in trouble now, but I need the AOG to opine on that, because there's impediment is impediment in my opinion. I'm not a prosecutor, but we need some further guidance on that. But again, if we have to take every federal dollar out of the city, we'll do it. I mean, we're done. This is about public safety. This is about community safety. Knowingly releasing a public safety back into public is just stupid. You're putting the public at great risk. You're putting our officers at great risk. You're even putting the illegal alien at great risk, because anything can happen on an arrest on the street. So we just want to make common sense. In sanctuary cities, they want to step aside. We're coming. We're going to do it for you. If you don't want to make your community safer, President Trump's going to.
AOC better get on board. She better get on the hotline to Eric Adams to find out what he's doing, so she can help out, so she can begin to at least make amends. But I don't think there's any way she can get around a possible prosecution if it is found to be true that she is indeed providing webinars for people so that they can avoid ICE.
So much you may even get tired of winning, and you'll say, please, it's too much winning. We can't take it anymore. Mr. President, it's too much. And I'll say, no, it isn't. We have to keep winning. We have to win more. We're going to win more.
I'm sorry, but that is just fantastic piece a video right there, the president talking about winning. And I've got to tell you, the winning just continues in Washington, D.C. with respect to his cabinet picks. Looking at the latest situation, we have Tulsi Gabbard being confirmed last week. Last week was a great week for Trump and his confirmations, leading off with Tulsi Gabbard. Tulsi makes it 14-0 for Trump. He is undefeated in that respect. Her vote was 52-48, and the only person, Republican, that voted against her was Mitch McConnell. Mitch is, I guess, probably one of the oldest people to ever serve in Congress, as a senator, I should say. And he voted against her because he's on his way out and doesn't care, I bet. Or maybe there's some other reasons. He might not want her in because of the possibility of him being involved in some shenanigans. But who knows? But the bottom line is he voted against her. He's the only Republican to do so. Granted, like I said, he is on his way out. He's not running again for another seat in the Senate, so somebody else will fill that seat. So we really don't mind what he does, as long as he doesn't get in the way. And he didn't get in the way this time, and neither did some of the other Republicans who are a little bit squishy with respect to Donald Trump and this MAGA movement. And to be honest with you, I'm excited about that. Something has changed. There's a reason why the squishes are now on board with whatever Trump wants to do. I've got to believe that they understand that they're squishes, they are in the minority, the people are not behind them, and if they want to have a shot at running again or advancing their careers, they better get on the MAGA train, and they better get on that train quickly and quietly without much gruntling. There is no one more excited about Tulsi Gabbard getting on board with the cabinet than Donald Trump himself. But he's also got to be very, very excited because he took a big chance with RFKJ. Robert Kennedy Jr. is now confirmed, and he will be the next director of Health and Human Services. And when he was being confirmed and he was in the Oval Office after the confirmation, he was given a little bit of a speech, and he told a little bit of a story that kind of brought some memories back for me. The story was when he was a little boy, he was actually in the Oval Office when his dad, Robert Kennedy, signed a proclamation for what has become known as the Presidential Fitness Award. Now, I remember the Presidential Fitness Award from back when I was a kid in school. Somewhere around 10, 11 years old, 5th or 6th grade, we had to go through this process where we had to do a series of pull-ups, a series of sit-ups. We had a 50-yard dash, a 600-yard walk, run kind of thing. And of course, my favorite, which was the standing broad jump. I had the best record in the school for quite a number of years. I still don't know if it's been broken, but not to brag too much. But the bottom line is, I can remember having to go through that Presidential Fitness Award. And now to think that RFKJ is the person who will be in charge of America's health and fitness is just unfathomable. And he is humbled by the experience. I know a lot has been said about him. He's a little bit on the misunderstood side. But if you listen to what people are saying and look at the facts, I think you'll see that the facts prove those people wrong. People say he's anti-vax, which isn't true. He's vaccinated. His kids are vaccinated. He's not against vaccines. What he is against is the junk science that backs some of these vaccinations. He is totally for safety trials, which, as a matter of fact, have not been done for many of the vaccines that we take. And he just wants to get rid of the junk science. And he's a man who has sued companies, these big major companies, over the fact that they've lied to the population. They've lied to the people. So when it comes to Robert F. Kennedy, he and the president are very excited to be a part of this MAHA, Make America Healthy Again revolution. I got to read to you a quick tweet that came through that I think just sums it all up. Tremendous applause and chants of "We love you, Bobby" erupt as RFKJ's Senate confirmation hearing comes to an end. There is no denying that America wants this man to be confirmed as HHS Secretary. And I agree with that 100%. He is the only candidate who to my knowledge, who has ever talked about making America healthy again. And the truth of the matter is, we are not a healthy country. As a matter of fact, it's a known fact that there are items in our food, red dyes, green dyes, blue dyes, that are poisoning us, that are cancerous. And they're in American foods, but overseas, the exact same food product does not have those things in them. Only in America are we eating food that's poisoning us. He's also against big agriculture. He's wanting to get away from preservatives and things like that that are in our food, which are, again, chemicals that are destroying the health of America. So these are the kinds of things that I think if he can get in there and do, will be great for this country. Now, there is one more cabinet member that should have been last week, but the Democrats pulled a lot of shady tricks and procedural tricks to postpone his confirmation until this week. But we don't have a doubt, at least at this moment, we're not having a doubt that Kash Patel will be the next secretary of the FBI. Now, to me, that comes as a surprise because Kash is known for a book that he put out maybe about 3 years ago or so called, let me think of it, Government Gangsters. And in the book Government Gangsters, Kash Patel actually names of people who are on, let's just say, shady ground and have done some things that they probably ought to do, but did. And let me just read a quick tweet from Dr. Rod. Kash Patel made it out of committee to be confirmed. Obviously, it will be Tuesday due to Monday being a holiday. This is one of the Democrats have fought the hardest. That means Kash Patel is the right person for the job. Pray that he gets confirmed. The Democrats have fought against Kash Patel the hardest. They've used every trick in the book to postpone his confirmation hearing. But from what we're hearing from Capitol Hill, there's no doubt that he will be confirmed. Probably won't need the tie-breaking vote from J.D. Vance either to make that happen. But Kash is the guy who looks like he will be, which will make it 16-0 for Donald Trump, which is almost unheard of. But the bottom line is, we like Kash. We think Kash will do a number of things. One is he will take FBI agents out of the office and put them in the field so that they can do the job that they're supposed to be doing, which is fighting major crime, fighting the cartels, fighting the gangs that are in this country, and of course, human smuggling and slavery that is going on in this country. I really believe that Kash will do that. I think the Democrats are afraid of Kash because he is going to do something like, share the Epstein client list, or he might just share some other things that are supposed to be classified but should be out to the public. And he is a man of transparency. He wants to make the FBI much, much more transparent. And I think the Democrats are afraid of that as well. And there's probably some Republicans that are afraid of that as well. But anyway, I believe that Kash will be the next FBI secretary. Congratulations to Tulsi Gabbard. Congratulations to RFK, and congratulations for Donald Trump for so far being undefeated in getting his cabinet picks appointed. DJ, cue up the sad music. Ladies and gentlemen, something very, very sad is going on in Washington, D.C. Well, it may not be sad for you and me, but it is sad. Let me let you in on the news.
Wild. The real estate market in Washington, D.C. and neighboring areas is exploding with new listings, meaning everybody is putting their house up for sale. And you might wonder, why is that? Well, people believe it's because 75,000 federal workers accepted President Trump's early buyout offer. After what DOJ discovered the USAID was spending money on, that workforce is expected to go from 10,000 down to 300. Thus today, 1,300 federal employees that work for the CDC were laid off, and the IRS is expected to cut their workforce by 10%. And you also have the executive order that was signed to bring all federal employees employees to work back in the office. Currently in the Metro DC area, there are 5,581 homes for sale, and 2,183 of those were listed in the last month. This is the neighboring town of Arlington, Virginia. In the past 48 hours, look at all of the new listings. You can see them because they're tagged with that green coming soon sign. It's looking like a mass exodus from Washington, D.C. and the neighboring areas. And some might say this is what draining the swamp looks like. What do you think?
I agree 100%. This is what draining the swamp looks like. Now I'm going to talk to you a little bit about what's going on and why, although she already let the cat out of the bag, so many people are leaving government positions, either being fired or taking a buyout. But there's something even more important that's going on. And I think that's something that will shape politics for the next whoever knows how many years. But the bottom line is, yes, there's 15,000 people who are scheduled to be let go at the IRS. Another 5,200 RFKJ has said will be let go from Health and Human Services. They're talking about 75,000 people taking the buyout that the government has been offering. So that's a lot of people, over 100,000 people already. They're talking about moving out. Well, the good news for those of us who might be MAGA or Republican and are in the process of moving back into DC, housing prices have dropped a bunch, so you're going to get a good deal regardless of where you go and buy. But the bottom line is that this might shape the voter base in DC, which could be very crucial in upcoming elections. You see, that whole Virginia, Northern Virginia area, Arlington, DC, whole area has been staunch Democrat for the longest time. And now maybe with Democrats fleeing the area, we might have a chance to make some impact in terms of flipping Virginia, or maybe making a big impact in DC. I don't think we'll flip DC in any way, shape, or form, but at least we will have a fighting chance in DC. But Virginia could be up for grabs with all that's going on in terms of people moving in and people moving out. The other thing that's really important down the road is the shrinkage of government. The shrinkage of government is giving us the opportunity to save money in terms of the outlay. If you know anything about business, you know the number one cost in a business 95% of the time is the payroll. And so if we can shrink the federal payroll, maybe we can make a dent in that $36 trillion deficit that we have, or just maybe make a dent in some of the other programs, not make a dent in some of the programs that have been talked about being cut. Just the mere savings might save some of those programs. But at some point in time, we're really going to have to take a good hard look at the budget. And this might be the opening salvo of getting us maybe down the road 3-4 years into balancing our federal government. Thanks for sticking around. Love you, but I got to go. I'll see you next time. I know that if you didn't like the content, I will definitely hear from you. But if you did like the content, please also drop me a line in the comments. I am Keemer the Great. You can check me out on X anytime, as well as on my YouTube page, which is The Right Pod Rising. Hope to see you soon. Later. Thanks for everything.